Guys, in this training, I'm going to be covering how to navigate Christmas or any holiday type situation that you may be in, any deviation from your normal standard routine without stressing, without regressing, a simple plan to enjoy the holidays without losing your progress. If you weren't on the community call, then this is what I'm going to cover here. The reality is, during this Christmas period, things can get out of hand pretty quickly. There's a lot of social events, there's food everywhere, things that you wouldn't normally have in the house are in the house. There's a lot of family events. You're surrounded by a lot of people who potentially aren't on the same path or the same trajectory as you, and then therefore old habits and behaviours can easily sneak in. The avoidance, or the thing that we want to avoid here, is hitting the fuck it button. If we can avoid getting through any kind of social event without hitting the fuck it button and just going, I'm just going to do whatever and start again on Monday or start again on Tuesday or whatever it is, ultimately that's going to allow us to succeed. A meal or two off plan here and there is not going to break it. It's not going to kill your progress at all. It's the self-sabotaging behaviours that come as a consequence of hitting the fuck it button. Okay, so if we can take one overarching principle from everything here, it's just to avoid that altogether. So the important thing is to first of all choose our standard. Now, be realistic with yourself, manage your own expectations and what you think is actually doable in this time. Can you progress? Can you maintain, or are you just going to enjoy yourself and almost damage limitation? That's the kind of three options that you have. There's no point in setting lofty goals and going, I'm just going to go all the way through Christmas and I'm just going to keep going and keep smashing it. And then you get derailed from social events because you weren't realistic about managing your own expectations. You feel like you're failing because you said, I'm going to train 5 days per week, and you're not training 5 days per week. You say you're going to stay on plan and you've been eating off plan, and therefore you say you're going to hit your 10,000-12,000 steps and you're not doing that. And instead of feeling like a success and going, I'm going to manage my own expectations here, I'm going to train 3 times per week, I'm going to bring my steps down to 8 to 10,000, and I'm just going to have a couple of meals off plan, maybe go back to maintenance calories. That, if you succeed in that plan, that feels like you've checked the boxes for the day. That feels like a win. You set a plan and you achieved it. You set a plan and you tick the boxes. Whereas if you set loftier goals and you don't hit them, you can feel like a failure. Although on paper the exact same actions take place, the psychology and the behaviour around it is completely different. And if you feel like a failure, that can cause you to go, well, I've failed now, I'd be as well just going for it. And that's the fuck it button. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So we pick our option here. Am I going to maintain, keep my weight steady, keep the steps consistent, and eat with purpose? I'm going to bring the calories up to maintenance. Doesn't mean I need to eat maintenance every day, but I know that I've got those flexible calories banked. So for example, if you're in a 500 calorie deficit per day, you have got 3,500 calories worth of flexible calories per week. Okay, so you know that you can add that in over the course of a week and spread that out across the week, however you would like to do that. Or we could go, am I going to continue to progress, but I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the progression. So am I just going to go into a small calorie deficit? So maybe I'm on a 30% deficit. I might go down to a 15% deficit. Maybe my cardio was a wee bit higher. Maybe I'll bring that down a little bit as well. Some simple structured meals. Again, consistent with everything that you're doing. Training doesn't skip a beat. Nutrition and all that is pretty well on point. We've just allowed some more flexibility within the calories. Or is it maybe some kind of mix of the two? So I'm going to loosen up for the big moments and I'm going to go for it kind of thing, or I'm going to enjoy myself in my entirety. And then that way I might stay on my diet and calories. I might stay in my deficit, my 500 calorie deficit on every single day, apart from the big days, the Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whenever those big events are. And then I might have that extra 3,500 calories, for example, on spread over 1 or 2 days rather than spread over the whole week. I'm going to stay structured on in and around of that, but I'm not going to undo months and months of hard work. So this means, you keep everything tight around all the days around the social events. When the social events are on, you just enjoy them in their entirety, and I'll go into some further steps with that as well. The important thing is, whatever standard you choose here, you have to honour it. So if you're unsure, err on the side of caution, okay? Always better to feel like you're succeeding than you're failing, 100%. Even from a psychology perspective, it is 100% a better option to feel like you're ticking the box. Then we come down to some pre-commitments. What is the standard that I'm not prepared to fall under, no matter how busy it gets? Be that with my training sessions, be that with my my nutrition, what does that kind of look like? What are my non-negotiables? If my steps are coming down, but it's like 8,000 by hook or by crook every day, it's 8,000 at least. It's at least 3 training sessions per week. It's at least 20 minutes of cardio after those training sessions, because I might make those training sessions shorter and therefore it still all fits within an hour. It's important to set a floor on this. What will I not allow myself to go under? That is so important. Once you make that promise to yourself, it is incredibly important to keep it as well from a psychology perspective. And a lot of this is, honestly, is psychology. When you make a promise to yourself and you are a person of your word, when you make a promise, you keep it. When you start, even if you haven't been a person like that previously, when you start to make a transition towards being a person who carries themselves in that manner, it has such a huge impact in your outcomes, because for a fact, if you set yourself something, you're just going to do it. You're just going to find a way to do it. You don't look at you don't see obstacles, you just see opportunities. It's a complete mindset shift. So that promise really does matter. Okay, now if we look at some pre-tracking methods, some pre-meal tracking. If we're going to have a meal out and we're going to potentially look at the menu beforehand, choose what I'm going to have beforehand, get a rough idea of the calories, chuck it into my MyFitnessPal and look and see where that kind of fits in my day. And then, I've got like 1,000 calories at the back end of the day. I know I've got another 1,000 calories for the rest of the day. Okay, I need to spread that out over 2 meals. Maybe I'll push breakfast out to a little bit later and I'll have 2 meals in between my night out or my evening out, or my meal out, and when I wake up, for example. So some people might say that's time restricted feeding, some people might say it's intermittent fasting. Who cares? Whatever it is, we're just controlling the amount of calories in a day. We could then go for like a quick calorie estimation. Again, just search for things in MyFitnessPal, just use it as a Google. Like, we don't need to know the exact calories. Just, if it's a chicken parmigiana, just search chicken parmigiana. If it's spaghetti bolognese, search it. If it's a surf and tough, search for a surf and tough. If in doubt, err on the side of higher calories. If you see one that's got higher calories, then just go for that. At the end of the day, we're trying to control body weight anyway and avoid that blown out. So erring on the side of caution isn't going to work. It isn't going to do you any harm at all. Then a food diary, just simply writing down your foods and just having awareness. Like, when you write it down, then you look at it and go, geez, and that was good. I enjoyed myself, but like I can't continue to do that. Or else we could look at something like calorie banking 100 to 200 calories in the days around, the days prior and the days after, to allow for 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 1,000 calories on that one meal. Then if we go for some non-tracking methods, I'll really love the 2 or 4 rule. So every social event offers a starter, main, dessert and alcohol. You pick 2 of them and you enjoy them fully. That's it. If you get a main and a drink, then that means no starter or dessert. If you're not going to drink, then that means you can have a main and a dessert. That's how you fall into staying on track in general, just by making better decisions. Then we can look into some other things, some non-tracking methods. Never arrive hungry. So I never arrive at a social event hungry, because it's going to cause me to overeat, without a doubt. So I'm going to have a high protein, high fibre meal before I leave, and that's going to allow me to arrive there and just stick to the plan. If the hunger noise is really, really high and then all this food is there in abundance, so easy to absolutely blow it. Then we've got things like an eat anytime plate. If we were looking at like what a meal should kind of look like in general, if you just eat like that, you're going to control calories anyway. That's going to be fantastic for 99% of people. So events, Christmas events, even social events, if a meal looks like this, you're going to be absolutely golden. Or we could divide our day into quarters. Again, removes that all or nothing mindset and just breaks the day down. So quarter 1, we're going to train in the morning, we're going to hydrate and have a protein heavy breakfast. We're just doing our normal stuff. Then maybe it's a lunchtime kind of event. We're going to enjoy ourselves without pretending that the whole day's ruined. We're going to go there, we're going to have an idea of what we're doing, we're going to apply the 2 and 4 rule to that social event, and then that evening we're going to return to plan. So we're going to come home that night, we're going to have a meal that's on plan, we're going to have just a normal meal, a high protein, high vegetable content meal, and then the next day we're going to get up, we're either going to train, we're going to walk, we're going to move, we're going to do something. We're not going to lie about in our arse all day watching Netflix. We're not going to come home and get out another 2 bottles of wine and keep that's a binge. Okay, that's what we're trying to avoid, is that fuck it button. Okay, then finally, if we look at training, so this is what your normal week looks like, and maybe this is what your holiday week could look like. So instead of 3 to 4 gym sessions that are maybe over an hour long, maybe it's 2 to 3 gym sessions that's 30 to 45 minutes. Instead of 12,000 steps, maybe it's 8 to 10. Instead of a full day of tracking, maybe we're implementing some non-tracking methods. And instead of structured cardio, as well as training. We're either picking one or the other, maybe gym or cardio. This is how you're going to stay consistent, and consistency is far better than perfection. We know this. I've spoke about this many, many times. If we can stay consistent, that's the biggest thing here, okay? We're just trying to avoid the fuck it button. If you can take one saying, one concept with you, avoid the fuck it button at all costs.